Hello everyone, so in today's video we've got a lovely little job to do, a nice little set of stairs in this opening here. Now this is the house where I call it the wonky walled kitchen walled house, and as you can see here, look, not made an awful deal of progress here, and this is quite typical of a tradesman house. This is a plumber's house, and as usual they're running around trying to get everyone else's jobs done, and their own jobs tend to get on the back burner. So anyway, it's been quite a few weeks actually since I did these, lined out these walls. And if you did watch those videos, thank you very much. But anyway, back to the matter of the day. We've got a lovely little set, as I said, of double kite winder stairs here, which we're going to start fitting. We've got some plans. Here we go. Look, a little box of goodies here, and obviously a plan. It's fairly simple stuff. Starts at the bottom, turns, short flight in the middle, turns again, and a tiny flight at the top. And they're all here. So first job of the day, we've got to just obviously when we put the floor in, I think I did a video on this floor as well, so if you watched that, thank you. Just got to cut this flooring back a little bit, but we've got to reduce the stair opening by 75mm here. I'm only going to do it where the top flight hooks on, because we'll have to pack it out further for the apron, or I think we'll probably use a plasterboard apron here. But anyway, we've got some timber, so that's the first job of the day. Let's get that packed out by 75mm, because again we've got some measurements on the plan here. You can see, I don't know if you can just see that here. It says we've got a 75mm packer, but we need 1191 between the face of that trimmer and the wall, and then what that does is allows a 30mm gap between the outside string and the wall, obviously for plasterboard. Ideally that would be dot and dabbed already, but again, not the end of the world to just pack it off. 30mm, and then the guys can dot and dab the plasterboard down behind it. So anyway, yeah, it's going to be a nice one, because the English summer is in full effect. So obviously it's raining outside, so I've got a good day to start this. So yeah, let's crack on. So I've got this 75mm packer on. Really important that this is super strong. So obviously I've polyurethane glued that and screwed it in 6 places. So that's got to be strong, because what we're going to do here is obviously notch out the newel and sit that on it. So it doesn't need to go all the way along here, because there's an apron piece coming along here which we'll probably pack out further, but we can do that afterwards. And obviously this flooring will be cut back, which I'll show you as the video goes on. Next job is to prepare this top flight. So what I'm going to do here, the way I put them in, is I'll put the top flight together and then hook it sort of over onto this trimmer that we put here, and that will bring us sort of down to this point here. And then there's just another small flight we'll do and hook onto that, and then as we come down, the last flight will hook onto that. But you'll see as we get going. What we've got to do now is, this is the top newel here, so we're going to put this newel over onto this mortise here on this top string, and we can put some marks across onto it, so we can notch the back of that out, so that we can then, as I said, start to think about putting it all together and lifting it onto this, basically just hooking it straight onto that packer there. Out for these drawer downs already. There we go. Excellent. So we'll just quickly show you. So what I've done here, just to help me so I don't sort of, if I take a phone call or have a break or something, I don't forget, this cross denotes the bit that I'm actually going to take out. So what we're going to do now is get the top nosing, put that in here, and then what we can do is sort of draw around it. We'll take the measurement from the bottom of the top nosing, we'll take the measurement of the thickness of the joists, and basically we cut that, and we'll make a mark down here, and the riser will go into this, against this shoulder here, and that'll give us a mark along the back there. And then what we'll do, we'll take all of that material out, and that will enable this to then hook over that joist up there. set the saw up, take that out.
No, you got to cut it to the right side. And you've got to cut sellotape to the right side. Left side facing that. Make sense? It's 50 to 100. Surely if it's over that, it's over that. I thought so. 1.5 metres. Cut it on the roll down first. No, you just put it down instead and then it's cut too small. It should be the same size. But it doesn't look it, does it? No, not at all. Well, what we can do is we can cut it down on the roll, can't we? No, we can cut it down to the height. So that way, couldn't we? Yeah. No, but we just cut that down to 1 point. We just cut that down, that whole roll down to a metre. We can cut 7 off that again, can't we? 2.8. Yeah, so if we do what you just said. because that'll be easier to cut. Saw now, I won't straight through. Well, 1 metre. Yeah, that's massive. Take that one. No, that might not make it. Might not make it. Surely not. No, you will, mate. I think that's about 1.7 metres. That's another metre.
Super tight. Right, now what I can do is get a measurement to cut this riser between this shoulder here and that housing there, and the same for the top tread. I'm going to rip the top tread down because it's quite wide. Look, it doesn't need to be as wide as that, so I'm probably going to rip that top tread down and maybe just the same depth as the back of the newel there. And then what we'll do here, have a word with the customer, see what sort of skirting they want at the top, because then what we can do here is sort of cut this the right size before we put it up there, and then the skirting can just butt straight into it. As you can see here, it's really important here that we get this newel square with this riser here, because then that'll make sure that when this top tread is in level across its width, this will then be upright, because it's obviously this will then obviously be plumb because it's square with this. So just something we need to keep in mind here. That you can see, if you can just see that there's a slight gap there, so all we've got to do is just pull that down. Look, get those 2 screws in there, and we know that this will then be square and it will all stay nice and level and upright when we fit it. Right. Got MDF treads here, really important to make sure you counter drill all the way through. Make sure you counter drill all the way through, because we don't want to split it when we put those screws in. And then just go back out and countersink them, because this riser here is going tight to that joist packer that we put up there, so we don't want the screws to hold it off. Obviously, plenty of glue and screws in here, because we don't want any squeaks. Squeaks are horrible. There we go. Superb.
You are?
What I'm going to do now is just put one small screw down through the top of this tread into this riser. I've got to get the position absolutely perfect, because this riser is only 10mm, but the groove that they put in the back of this, in the bottom of this tread, I think comes from the factory, and it's to accommodate all different widths of nosings. It's like a standard nosing, so it's the groove's wide to accept all kinds of different things, aprons and stuff like that. So we'll just put a little screw down there. I've glued it all, so once the glue gets it, it won't go anywhere. Because that is a real squeak point that you don't want squeaking as you walk down the stairs, your feet roll over it. So yeah, let's get that screwed in there, and then we can take a measurement. We know that this is the face of the trimmer, so we can take a measurement back to the back side of this tread here, same with this newel, and we can cut that out the flooring, and then this is almost ready to be hooked in. So there you can see, look, I've got that screw sort of carefully in there. It's gone down the centre of that 9mm ply, and what that's done is made that nice and tight. Pulled all that glue in, look. And this PVA is really, really strong. Anyone that uses it will know. So once all that goes off, there won't be any issues there. So again, what I can do now, as I said, take a measurement here. I don't know what it's going to be. What we've got there, metric. We've got there, 35mm. So basically, take 35mm by 900. We take that off the face of this flooring, 35mm back from this space here, 900 from the wall. Sorry, that'll be 930 from the wall because we've got to allow for 30mm of plasterboard, and then we can go upstairs, cut this flooring off, cut a few props up, and we can get this this top flight hooked on. Right, floor's all cut back, didn't show that because it's fairly straightforward. This flight's all set up, ready to go. What I'm going to do, say this will just hook on there now. What I'm going to do, rather than cut a prop, what I normally do, so I'm spinning around, is take some measurements and cut a prop to go in that corner to just prop underneath this kite here. But what I'm actually going to do is go one step further. I know that my rise is 205, so what I've got is 1, 2, and then 3 rises. This is to the bottom of the tread. I've used this bit of scrap 22mm tread material I had. Transfer that mark across there. There's a little flat, you can just see there's a tiny little flat section here. So I've measured from there to the bottom of this tread, it's 157mm. So if I add that to the 2 rises at 205, it comes to 773. So what I'm going to do now, just quick, I think it'll be worth it because I don't have to mess around, you know, putting this in and then getting a prop. What I'm going to do is put a level mark across from the floor level, which we know is the underside of this top nosing here. Put a level mark across, measure down that 773, and then fix a tab onto this corner here. So when I come to put the stairs in, I'm not, you know, fishing around trying to grab a prop. I can just rest it straight on that little. So I spin out. This little flat section here will rest on the tab that I put on that wall. I've made it slightly low so that I can pack it up if I have to. Right, this top flight is all prepped up and ready to go. As I said earlier, what I've done is just dropped a measurement down from there, 773, this mark here, plumbed it across, fixed myself a little tab on. What I should be able to do now is hopefully lift up this flight, hook it straight on there, it'll rest on this tab here and won't fall down. Let's try it. Right, I've had to put the camera outside to get this angle in, so let's grab hold of this and see if we can hook it on. We're just going to lean it up against that. Lean it up against the packer first. Push it back in. There we go. So as I said, I don't know if you can see there, resting nice on this little tab I put here. And obviously it's hooked onto the joist of the packer up there, so it's not going to go anywhere. So really happy with that. Got to remember that this has got to be packed 30mm off the wall, but this gives us a really good point now. We can get our levels in and we can make sure that this is plumb and upright. And then we can start putting this next mule in here, and then the next big flight will slide in from the end. So, yep, happy with that.